Yep, just put your foot on there, you're good.
Any chance we can do selfies on the way around?
No chance, Rihanna, just hang on.
Flat out over the start-finish line, down the My Bike motorcycle insurance straight. Hard on the brakes into the spokes S as we go, left and then right. Up the straight, up through the gearbox into Motul corner. You've got to be really careful into here. Just breathe on the brakes on your way in there. Flat out, a quick blad on the throttle, into Pirelli corner we go. Around Pirelli, it's all about keeping that mid-corner speed up and getting onto the gas as hard as you can and into the big sweeper. The Alpine Star sweeper, many people have come unstuck here, especially this weekend. Flat out through there, dive in tight into the Yamaha Financial Services right-hander, and then once again breathe on the brakes and into the Dainese bend. Now this part of the circuit is really, really tricky. It's nice and tight. On the gas, the quick blip up into AGV, keep it smooth, keep that corner speed going, and then down through into Dunlop. Nice and tight through Dunlop, really careful to get on the gas, but you've got to get on nice and hard, using all the track out to the edge on the way out there. Down the short straight into the AMMF corner, and then once again hard on the brakes. The bike moves around so much into here, I tell you, you cannot get it run. There is runoff, you get your runoff there, but your race will be over. Flat out down the Ducati straight, and I'll tell you what, the Ducatis are really fast down there too. Hard on the picks, you can see the bikes diving around in the braking area into MA. Down through the gearbox they go. Slick right there, 90-degree corner, a quick blip into the Yamaha Revs Your Heart Out corner. On the straight again, tuck in behind the screen, and hopefully you're the one that gets over that finish line and takes the win.
Yeah, awesome. Just such an appreciation for the physicality of what the guys go through in these races. What do we do? 1.5 laps and just, you know, enormous physical strength, and yeah, they're amazing what they do. Very cool.
Well, as they make their way off on the warm-up lap, listen to that roar. It's a long time since we've heard such a big roar from a big Supersport field here at Motorsports TV. And you can see a couple of riders there doing the Casey Stoner, just pulling over and letting everybody past, making sure they come back to the grid with the warmest tyres possible. Incidentally, it was the riders that sit first and second on the grid in Tommy Edwards and also Brock Pearson. You just saw Mitch Kuhn go past there on the pink and white liveried machine. As we said, very hard to miss. Tom Edwards starts from pole position on board bike number 26 with Brock Pearson on 17 and Max Stouffer on 127 in third.
Tom Bramich in fourth on row 2. Ty Lynch, a great result from him too. Scott Nicholson, good to see him back in the championship on a Yamaha.
Row 3 will be Dallas Skier, who's going a great weekend this weekend. Got Glenn Richards here working with him as well. Luke Power on board bike number 68, making his debut in the class, along with Johnny Littress, will start out of row 3 in positions 8 and 9.
Of course, row 4, Jack Hyde, Jack Passfield, Aidan Hayes on row 4. Fifth is Reece Belling, Timothy Large, Joel Taylor on row 5. Good to see Luke Mitchell back in the championship as well. Had a bit of an appendix problem just before this event. He's fit and healthy now and making his way back.
Yeah, Noel Mann also in there with on the row with Luke Mitchell, and the field rounded out by bike number 23. That's Matt Long on board his Yamaha R6. So a lot of Yamaha R6s, a couple of Kawasaki's, a couple of Suzuki's in there, getting ready for a great season of Motorsports TV Supersport racing. It is a Yamaha lockout on the front row of the grid though, with 3 of the brand new generation Yamaha R6s doing a great job in qualifying. And Tom Bramich also in 4th place on a brand new motorcycle. It was so brand new, they were trying to not only run the engine in, but run the suspension in as well this weekend.
Run everything in and try and get the brakes to work. So looking forward to see what he can do.
Unlike our earlier race, the Yamaha R3 Cup, this is the first race for 2021 for Motorsports TV Supersport. 2021 starts now. Motorsports TV Supersport is go. Great start from Tommy Edwards, also from Max Stouffer as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. And it is Max Stouffer that comes up the inside, runs wide. He's got the inside line, but Edwards sweeps through. Max Stouffer maintains second position. Looks like Tom Bramage has got a cracking start from the second row of the grid and slots into third. Brock Pearson back to fourth. And is that Jack Hyde on board bike number 28? Slots into fifth place as they make their way down the hill and through Pirelli corner and out onto a very short straight before they head into the Alpine Stars sweeper.
Good to see Luke Power up there on the Kawasaki as well. Good result for him. Good result in his first 600 race.
Yep, he's got off to a pretty good start, and I know he's a little bit nervous about stepping up, but he's doing a great job here this weekend for the ProWorks team. But it is Tommy Edwards that has blitzed them off the first half of this lap. Look at the lead that he's opened up now as he comes through the final corner in the S's area there. That's Dunlop corner and out onto the back straight, already leading this race by quite a considerable margin, half a second after only half a lap.
Yeah, well, those international guys, both him and Tom Bramage, who got those brilliant starts, I mean, that comes from racing overseas where it's just so hectic on the first lap. Brock Pearson got a bad start. He needs to get his mojo back on the starting grid for sure, but he has made his way past Tommy Bramage now, but that start could hamper him later on with the speed that Edwards is showing at the moment.
Yeah, Scott Nicholson's now camped on the back of Tom Bramage's machine trying to find a way past, but as they come across the line, it is 0.7 of a second the lead for Tom Edwards. Maxi Stouffer has pulled that back. Oh, that's Jack Hyde. Jack Hyde is off at turn one, making his way across the infield. And I've seen also some modifications. The Marshall's post there has been removed, making it a little bit safer for those guys, but Jack Hyde has got a lot of work to do now to get himself back into this equation. Yeah,
definitely. He's not going to feature on the podium, which he looked like he was in for a chance for, but unfortunately he's just going to have to put this one behind him and get ready for the next time out. You can just see here in the background there, just got caught up a little bit with Luke Power. Too close on the entry there. Luke Power had the line, and Jack Hyde's been forced wide. Plenty of runoff there, so safe, just destroyed his race.
Yeah, I think that incident might have also cost Luke Power a little bit of time. It looked like he ran wide. Look at Pearson now. He's all over the back of Max Stouffer as they come out of Dunlop corner and down the AMMF straight. Let's have a look at the gap. It looks pretty consistent to what it was at the start-finish line with Tom Edwards in front. So the riders in second and third now, Max Stouffer and Brock Pearson, have held station. They've got to try and reel in Tom Edwards that set a cracking 127.2 from a standing start on the first lap. As they come down through MA corner, it looks like Scott Nicholson is also starting to get away from Tom Bramage as well, who's making his debut in this class, a former champion in the Yamaha R3 Cup and Supersport 300 classes. Down into the spokes.com.au corners is still Nicholson. Bramage closes back in, but Edwards, 0.7 of a second the lead after they came round, but the fastest man on track on lap two.
Pearson up the inside.
That's the man, Brock Pearson. He was fastest on lap two.
Yeah, and he's just made another move, and I'll tell you what, he is, when the tyres wear, he gets stronger. Look at the amount of room he's already made on Maxi Stouffer. Stouffer needs to just sit in behind him now, but it's quite an ask to catch back up to Tommy Edwards from there.
If you had a look at the practice times from Friday in isolation, you would have thought this is going to be a Brock Pearson benefit because he was consistently faster than everybody for a majority of the session. But what we've seen over the weekend is that the other riders have got faster, but Tom Edwards has been fast and consistent, and he got that great first lap in, and that's what's propelled him to this lead. They've held station ever since, but Brock Pearson now is on a charge. He's got a full head of steam, and I'll be very interested to see what he can do as they come round to complete this third lap. It is, Steve, a 14-lap race, so a long way to go. Well,
it is, but if we talk about lap records, Ted Collins, the 600 Supersport champion from 2017, still holds a lap record at a 122.8. Brock Pearson on his first flying laps just throwing down the gauntlet with a 122.9. Yeah, 0.5 quicker than the man in front.
That's it. He was only 1/10 off. What's he been able to do on this race? He's gone to a 122.776. Brock Pearson. That's a new lap record, and he's closed the gap down on our race leader, Tommy Edwards. Look at him charging forward. Max has got to try and go with Brock Pearson here as he makes this charge forward, because at the moment he's just dropping off a fraction from Brock Pearson's machine.
Yeah, Pearson, you would say, would be the most experienced man on the 600, so he knows probably better than the other guys who are still learning these bikes that come from smaller machines, you know, what to do to get the most out of it. But Pearson, the thing that I like about him is, yeah, he's fast, but he can keep that speed up over the distance of the race. He seems to get stronger and faster, just the style that he's got, over the length of the distance of the race.
And Tom Edwards looks very busy on the machine, doesn't he? He looks like he's riding on edge. you know, whereas Brock Pearson just looks casual and smooth, as does Max Stouffer as well. As Scott Nicholson throws out the foot there, throws out the anchor to try and pull the bike up as he came down into that corner. It's one of the corners that sets up this run down the two back straights. It's so very important here at Winton.
Oh, it certainly is, especially on the last couple of laps. You've got to set your bike up for this part of the track here, for the braking areas. I mean, last two opportunities really to pass before the start-finish line.
And we saw how important it was in the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup, where Carter Thompson had that great lead, made a little bobble in the last corner, and the man behind was able to take the victory for you know, the first time this weekend. We've seen how important those corners are.
Absolutely. Pearson still there, just with that smooth style. Tom Edwards out front, muscling the bike around, keeping that lead at the moment. There's still 0.6 of a second between the two of them.
And I'll tell you how much of a charge Brock Pearson's on. He's just broken the lap record for the second time. He's lowered it now by 0.2 of a second, a 1:22.6. 0-0. That's 1/10 of a second faster, actually nearly 2/10 of a second faster than our race leader, who also set his fastest lap of the race. In fact, Steve Martin, everybody in the top 9 just set their fastest lap of the race on the last lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you would expect, everything's settled down now. They've got their position. They're not really dicing it to get that desperation pass. It's all now about trying to catch the man in front.
Big shout out to our class debutants, Tom Bramage in 5th place, Luke Power in 6th, and Johnny Luttress in 7th, doing a great job in their Supersport, Motorsports TV Supersport debut.
Yeah, it won't be long before those guys are up challenging for the podium positions, that's for sure. With just such a stellar performance in their first ever race on those machines, really good to see. Dallas Skier, he's having the best weekend he's had in a while too.
Brock Pearson is now right onto the back of Tommy Edwards. He has just lowered the lap record in total by 0.5 of a second at 1:22.364. Brock Pearson has just lowered the lap record 3 laps in a row as he's made a charge. He has made up about 1 second in difference on the circuit over the last 3 laps, and he is now in a position to challenge Tom Edwards for the race lead in the first time in 5 laps. We're getting up to 5.5 laps completed now, so there's still a fair way to go. Now it's going to be a case of who's managed their tyres best over this first half of the race.
That is a super impressive lap time. In qualifying, when all they do is set the bike up, take all the fuel out of it, and make it as light as they can and go for 1 lap, they basically do the best that they can, and he's matched that pace already. Let's go down to the pits.
I'm standing with a very nervous Ian Pearson, Brock's dad. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the start to what he's liking, but he is setting the world on fire out there at the moment.
No, he didn't get the start, but he tries really hard and he'll push all the way. So I hope he just, keeps calm.
His fitness is something that's been in doubt in the last couple of years, but he said to me earlier this week, and he feels amazing, full fitness. You must be so proud of him.
He works really hard at his fitness and his craft, so I've got no real worries. So just hopefully a good race.
Wish you all the best.
Really well. Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear from Ian there. Brock's dad doing a great job in working on the bike this weekend, getting it all set up. And the team's they were here for the test. They had a good test, and all of that hard work is now really starting to shine as both Brock Pearson and Tom Edwards have got a very handy lead over the rest of the field, being led at the moment by Max Stouffer, the charge. He's in 3rd place, but he's about 2.5 seconds down on our race leaders. Good battle here back in the pack as well. As we look there, I think
it's Jack Hyde.
Yeah, I was going to say Jack Hyde doing a good job there.
Joel Taylor, Luke Mitchell's just in the back of that group too.
So just behind them, or actually just behind Max Stouffer now, is Scotty Nicholson, who's made a charge forward. Good to see Scott Nicholson doing a really good job on the brand new bike. We usually associate him with riding Suzuki's. He's made the jump to Yamaha and looking very, very fast on that machine.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job, isn't he? He's right up behind Maxi Stouffer at the moment. Maxi's not hanging around either. 23.0, his fastest lap of the race last time round. 23.0 for Scott Nicholson. That's going to be a PB for him as well.
Well, 23.0 for Max Stouffer equals his time in qualifying as well. So, you know, he's not hanging about there, as you said, and he's also trying very, very hard. It's just that the guys in front have lowered the benchmark into the mid-22s.
22.5 that time through for Tommy Edwards, our leader. That's his fastest lap of the race. Doesn't take the lap record, but when you've got 8 laps on the tyre, he's definitely lost all that brand new grip that you would expect to get those lap records with. He's, muscling it round now.
Just how much of a toll would it have taken on Brock Pearson's tyres to do those 3 lap records in a row, Steve Martin? And are we now seeing the fact that he's given those tyres a bit of a hard time, that now he's just had to back the pace back a fraction and maybe just sort of let everything cool down, ready for a final charge towards the end?
Probably could have had a little bit of a break, but I tell you what, he's not having a break going over the line. 22.4 that time round. Tommy Edwards does his fastest lap of the race the last 2 laps in a row.
Yeah, and he's only about a 10th now off the new lap record set by Brock Pearson early on, a 1:22.364. On that lap alone, Brock Pearson was 0.3 of a second slower. The gap is out to 0.8 of a second now for Tom Edwards on the Bike Biz Yamaha R6. Big overtaking manoeuvre there from Aidan Hayes up the inside of Reece Belling. The bricklayer from Victoria just got overtaken by the electrician. So it's all the tradesmen at work now as they come down into Motul Corner.
Yeah, good to see those guys. They've been in this class for quite a few years. Good to see Reece Belling back. He had a little bit of a break, but he's back on the new Yamaha now as well out there. So really good to see.
Yeah, Noel Mann and Mitch Kuhn having a good little battle there through the spokes.com.au S's as well. We mentioned about the modifications here at this area of the circuit, Motul Corner and Pirelli Corner. There's been a bit of talk about the area of the circuit over the weekend. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, they've put new ripple strips in there. Winton are always working hard to make this circuit safer, and there's moves afoot to big plans for the future as well. So to guarantee that this circuit will be being able to be raced on well into the future.
Ed Noelman, the second rider in the ProWorks Kawasaki team. But we go back to the lead. Brock Pearson has put in a cracking lap, and he's managed to claw his way back onto Tom Edwards' machine. There was only 0.179 of a second between them as they went through on that lap. I'd say Tom Edwards has had a moment, Steve. Yeah. A 1:23.2 as opposed to a 1:22.4 on the last lap for Brock Pearson. He's made up an incredible amount of distance, as you can see there, as we head into the 10th lap of our 14-lap journey.
But that's the thing, it's all about being consistent. You're better off to do a 10th of a second lap slower than you can do, but keep on doing those times than to go a 10th quicker one lap and a second slower the next lap. But that's Tommy Edwards, that's his style. You can see him moving around there on the bike and muscling it around.
Yeah, you can see the bike starting to move around a lot too as he got hard on the brakes who came into the Dainese corner. The back end starting to step around a little bit. You can see Brock Pearson there. Looks like they're trying to manage the wind probably more than anything around that area of the circuit, because it would be trying to pick them up.
At that part of the circuit, I think it's more grip, because you're on the edge of the tyre for so long over the back there, and that part's all about edge grip and pushing the corner speed as much as you can. It's not about acceleration through there. It's all about keeping that mid-corner speed up and trying to turn the bike. So that's what they're doing there. As opposed to when they get onto those back straights, and the front straight here, all about getting on the drive, flattening the rear tyre with the power to get as much of that power down on the straight to get the top speed. Not much edge grip there, but definitely this circuit, you do have to look after the edge grip.
Looks like Maxi Stove has managed to get away from the charge of Scott Nicholson on board bike number 39 as well in the battle for 3rd and 4th place. But our interest at the moment, Steve, is on this battle for the race lead. You can even see there Tommy Edwards' machine moving around on the exit of Pirelli Corner as he made his way, Motul Corner, and he's made his way down to towards Pirelli. But this is the area before where I noticed a little bit of movement from Edwards as he got onto the brakes. What can Brock Pearson do to try and close in that gap even further? They both look pretty smooth heading into the Dainese corner on this lap, but Brock Pearson, you can see how tall and lanky he is, trying to manoeuvre himself around on the motorcycle. But as you mentioned, he has a very economical style, whereas Tom Edwards just looks aggressive.
Yeah, and you can see also there that Pearson was using a little bit less of the track on the exit. So I think Pearson right now is having a breather, although they're still doing some pretty fast lap times. 22.3 from our leader last time out, which is, almost a lap record. These guys are just riding so fast out there at the moment.
Well, and I can 100% vouch for how much effort it takes to ride anywhere near your own full pace on a circuit, Steve Martin, let alone the pace that these guys are going at the moment. 122s on a Supersport bike. That'll actually probably qualify them very well in the Superbike field here this weekend as well, as they come down through the spokes.com.au is on lap 12. So laps are starting to wind down now. They've got a handy lead over the rest of the pursuing pack, led at the moment by Max Stouffer. There is nothing between them, 0.15 of a second. 1.75 of a second, in fact, as they came through intermediate number 1, with Edwards leading. Pearson, after that, well, not really good start, has made his way back and managed to challenge Tom Edwards for the last half of this race.
Well, the thing about this, as you just have a look at the provisional points there, if it did finish this way, Tom Edwards would take, of course, 1 point for pole position and 25 points for the race win, 20 for Brock Pearson in second. Still decent points for those two guys out front, but I'm sure that Pearson wants to slip that around the other way if he can. Yeah, so they won't be thinking about points at the moment, but it's one thing to catch Tommy Edwards out front, but to get past him is going to be another story.
Yeah, that's it. We've seen how late he is on the brakes, and those years of conditioning in the World Championship for Supersport 300 means that he would have to be able to brake very late and maintain position in that class, because that's the young up-and-coming class for people that want to be Superbike World Champions. Unfortunately, the COVID situation means that they can't really go back over there and compete this year. But the good news for Australian race fans is that we've got two of the protagonists from that field here joining us in the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships Motorsports TV class. Oh, Scott Nicholson's making a big challenge there at Max Stouffer. Stouffer manages to get back with a big move on the brakes through the spokes.com.au. But yes, as we mentioned, Tom Edwards and also Tom Bramage back here in Australia, and it's great for Australian race fans.
Hey, this is a great ride by Scott Nicholson, into 4th spot at the moment. On for the podium. I think that's going to be like a really good result for him.
Massive welcome back to Motorsports TV Supersport class for a former competitor that's been away from the championship for a couple of years. What an impressive return.
Yeah, you're meant to get slower as you get older, Scott. Not faster, but he's certainly got it all in place at the moment. Not long to go now before we see who crosses the line first in this one, Phil. And boy, it's going to come down to the last lap for sure. But look at the man in front now. He's just starting to really give it everything.
Oh, Nicholson
up the inside.
Tries to go up the inside at the Dunlop corner, but Max Stouffer just closes the line as they came out of the corner. I think as they come to the bottom of the AMF straight, it is Scott Nicholson's. It's made his intentions perfectly clear to Max Stouffer, who's now got to put his head down. But our leaders will be coming across the start-finish line, Steve, to start the final lap. There is 12 corners to go. Tom Edwards currently leads from Brock Pearson, but there is literally nothing in it at the start as they make their way through the spokes.com.au for the final time. Pearson has just dropped off a couple of bike lengths. He's going to need to pull that back because he's not going to outbrake Tom Edwards. How late Tom Edwards on the brake. Stouffer's off the track in the spokes.com.au. He's managed to get back on, but I think that's gifted a podium in his return to ASBK for Scott Nicholson on board bike number 39.
Yeah, really good to see Scotty Nicholson in that position now. Stouffer's obviously had a race that he'll want to put behind him, but still 4th is nothing to sneeze at. But Pearson back on the back wheel now of Tommy Edwards out front. It's on the gas. He's around the outside. He's strong at this part of the circuit. Watch out. He could dive up the inside here. It's an opportunity. Can't do it there.
I think it's going to come down to the MA corner for Brock Pearson. He's going to have to get good drive out of Dunlop and down the AMF straight and then through the next corner here. This corner is crucial for Brock Pearson. He needs drive out of here and onto the Ducati straight. He's had a bit of a bubble. He's
he knows it. He knows it. You can see him shake his head. He made a mistake going in there. That's given the drive, but Tommy Edwards doesn't know that. He could make a mistake in these last couple of corners. Smooth through there. 1 corner to go for Tommy Edwards.
He'll drive out onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance front straight, and he will take the win. First blood goes to Tom Edwards on board bike number 26, the bike is Yamaha. Second, Brock Pearson. As we said, he just stuffed it into that corner a little bit too late, lost the front end momentarily, and that was the end of his charge. Scott Nicholson will take the final place on the podium on board bike number 39. Maxi Stouffer will finish in 4th. Luke Power gets up to 5th place in his Supersport debut as well. Congratulations, Luke Power on the ProWorks Kawasaki. Tom Bramage in 6th place. Dallas Skier in 7th. A good result for Dallas Skier. And Johnny Littress in his debut as well will take 8th place. Well, congratulations to Tom Edwards and the Bike Biz team. And welcome to the championship on the brand new R6. And that's his first victory in the Supersport Motorsports TV class as well.
Well, he certainly earned that one, lapping in the 1 minute 22s, under the old lap record for most of the race.
Yeah, and I don't know how many times the old lap record was bettered in that race, but let's just say it was quite a few, because not only did Tom Edwards do it, Brock Pearson did it 3 times in a row. After not a good start, managed to come back and challenge Tom Edwards for that race victory, but it all came down, as we mentioned, to the final couple of corners, and in the end it was Tom Edwards that took the victory by 1 second over Brock Pearson. Scott Nicholson in 3rd, Max Stouffer in 4th place, all of them mounted on brand new Yamaha YZF R6s. The first Kawasaki home, Luke Power, in his debut in the class on board bike number 68 in 5th. Then it was Tom Bramich, Dallas Skier on the first of the Suzukis. Johnny Littris, Jack Passfield and Aidan Hayes rounds out the top 10.
11th was Jack Hyde, Reece Belling in 12th position, Joel Taylor in 13th, Timothy Large in 14th, Luke Mitchell there, good job by him in 15th, Mitchell Kuhn in 16th, Noel Mann, Matthew Long in 18th.
I think it's time to hear from our top 3. There with Rihanna.
What another exciting race here at Winton Motor Raceway. Time for the podium for the Motorsports TV Supersport class, and in 3rd place, Scott Nicholson. Scott, congratulations as you pulled into Parc Fermé. Couple of deep breaths there. That was hard work.
Oh, it sure was. Maxie put up a good fight and went down to the final lap. I'm so thankful for the team that got me here. It's been hard work this past couple of weeks after a few big crashes. And yeah, I'm just thankful to everyone, Yamaha, Traction Control Motorsports, everyone that's put in all the hard work and effort to get me out there.
Fantastic to be on the podium for the first race of the weekend. Congratulations, Scott Nicholson. And in 2nd place, what an epic battle by this guy. Well done, Brock Pearson. Congratulations, the first podium for the year.
Yeah, it's a good way to kick off the year, to get straight on the box. Like, that's always nice. I feel like I had a little bit more speed, but just couldn't make a few things work on the bike. So we'll go back, try and make a few changes. Congratulations to Tom for the win. But yeah, we're all chasing a win. So yeah, I'll go back and keep trying to work until we reach it.
Just talk us through what happened on that last lap there. It looks like you had maybe a misgear or issue with the bike.
Yeah, just using a little bit too much front travel than I originally was, and I was just hitting the bottom of the fork. And yeah, I tried to line something up there, and with 2 corners to go, I tried to get right on, and yeah, just had a small mistake, and that sort of cost it. But it's racing.
Congratulations, Brock, on the podium for the first race of the year, and our winner for race 1 here for the Motorsports TV Supersport class. Congratulations, Tom Edwards. Man, there were some cool battles out there. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. It was a really tough race. You know, I led it pretty much from the start, and then was just watching my lap board. You know, you don't have time to look behind you or anything, and saw I had a little bit of a gap on Brock, and then he started pulling me back in, and you know, it was under pressure, and we ran a really fast pace the whole race, which was really good. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this afternoon.
Well, it's good to see that we've gone from one long-haired Tom dominating the class to another long-haired Tom dominating race number 1 of the season. He took a very narrow win over Brock Pearson. We speak, of course, there of Tom Edwards on the Bike Biz machine. He will line up on pole position as well on board bike number 26. A great start for the year for our Motorsports TV. Of course, Max Stouffer, who won one of the final races in last year's championship, was 3rd on the grid and put in a great ride in race number 1 as well.
Didn't get a chance to catch up with the 600 riders, but I reckon that Max had some sort of little issue because he's normally strong in the race, you know what I mean? He sort of did dwindle off a little bit in that one, so I hope that the team could try and figure out what that was, put it right, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, Maxie Stouffer further up towards the front.
Also got to mention on the 2nd row of the grid, no Ty Lynch, the South Australian rider, isn't out there on the grid. So the damage that he'd done to the bike yesterday must have caused that to happen. But Tom Edwards, Brock Pearson and Maxie Stouffer will start from that front row of the grid.
Absolutely. Tom Bramich and Scott Nicholson from row 2. Because Ty Lynch isn't out there.
Dallas Skier, Luke Power and Johnny Littris. Luke Power and John Littris both making their debut in the Supersport class here this weekend.
And they're doing a pretty good job out there too, aren't they? Luke Power on the Kawasaki, of course, and Johnny Littris just doing PB after PB. Jack Hyde, Jack Passfield and Aidan Hayes, 10th, 11th and 12th.
Reece Belling, Tim Large and Joel Taylor round out row 5, with row 6 being Luke Mitchell, Noel Mann and Mitch Kuhn.
And Matthew Long in 19th, a lonely 19th on row 7, but I'll tell you what, he will be making his way forward in this one.
As we've mentioned, Steve, the biggest Supersport field that we've had for a couple of years, and great to see the Supersport class getting some young riders coming up through the ranks from the Supersport 300s, along with the older, more experienced riders like Aidan Hayes and Reece Belling maintaining their position in this oh so good to watch class.
Yeah, good to see Reece Belling here on the new machine as well, on the new model R6, a long time campaigner on the old model. Good to have him back in the field.
See Luke Power making his way back onto the grid there on board bike number 68. The young 16-year-old having his debut here this weekend, and good to see his protagonist in the Supersport 300, Johnny Littress, sitting right next to him on the grid as well. There he is, Tommy Gunn, the man that sits on pole position, Tom Edwards, bike number 26. Motorsports TV Supersport, ready to go racing. Race 2 here at Winton Motor Raceway. Supersport is go. Looked like a pretty good start there from the second row of the grid with Tom Bramage as well, who's got off the line. Maxi Stouffer coming up into second place. Brock Pearson has got a much better start as he slots around the outside of Max Stouffer and up into second position behind our pole man Edwards as he makes his way across the top of the hill. Bramage, a bit out of shape there into Motul corner, and looks like Dallas Skier has also got a cracking start on board bike number 86.
Yeah, Reece Belling in the mid-pack there, good to see, but what a start that was from Brock Pearson. Incredible stuff. Dove round the outside of Maxi Stouffer. Stouffer's in third position at the moment. The start is under investigation though. Perhaps there could have been a jump start, so we'll let you know more about that when we find out. But out front, it's these two guys, pretty much a case of deja vu, race 1 at the moment, except that Brock Pearson hasn't had to use his tyre up this time to catch up Tommy Edwards.
Yeah, if you missed the race this morning, 3 lap records in a row for Brock Pearson as he made his way forward from not the best of starts to be up onto the back of Tom Edwards by about half race distance. And as they make their way down the Ducati straight for the first time, it is Edwards that leads. You can see the back wheel just starting to lift off the ground as he gets on the brakes there for MA corner. So no holding back on this first lap. And that was a point that you made this morning, Steve, about the riders that have come back from the World Championship. That's the one thing that they have now drilled into them, the importance of going absolutely as fast as you can on that first lap.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Johnny Littress has got off to a good start too, in 5th position. Good to see him right up there near the front. And whoa, big moment there. And it is Brock Pearson who takes the lead.
Yeah, I think Brock Pearson has made his intentions quite perfectly clear to Tom Edwards early on in this race. He's got past through the spokes.com.au S's and now leads them down towards Alpine Stars corner. Edwards and Stouffer looks like he's actually managed to catch up a fraction as well. That's Max Stouffer on board 127 machine. He's actually bringing Dallas Skier and Johnny Littress with him. Littress is flying early on in this race. As you just mentioned, Tom Bramage back to 6th place. Here it is, you can see around the outside into turn 1 for Brock Pearson. He ran a little bit wide on the exit of turn 2, but still had sufficient drive over the top of the hill that Edwards couldn't come back at Motul corner. Great action there on the GoPro replay.
Yeah, that was a brilliant overtake by Brock Pearson to take that spot back, and he pretty much has got the pace that he had at the start of the race earlier this morning at the start, except now he's in the lead. So let's see what he can do from there.
Unfortunately, Scotty Nicholson has gone backwards off the start. He's back in 9th position now from his position on the second row of the grid. Look there, I think that's Tom Bramage on board bike number 44, former champion in the Supersport 300 class. Great to see him back from competing overseas in that Supersport 300 World Championship for the last couple of years. And Johnny Littress, once again, as you mentioned earlier on today, Steve, running the 308 number that we're synonymous with his performances, and he looks to have adapted to the bigger 4-cylinder 600 machine very, very quickly.
Yeah, if you think it was like only last year or just the year before, he was still riding the 150 machine. There is Scotty Nicholson now having a bit of a battle with Jack Hyde, who's also doing a brilliant job. But I can't take my eyes off Dallas Skier. He's having a really good weekend. There he is at the moment on the number 86 machine in 4th position.
Is it any coincidence, do you think, that Glenn Richards, who has worked with many top riders both here in Australia and overseas in the UK, he's a former BSB champion as well, is arrived on the scene in Dallas Skier's pit, and immediately Dallas Skier is going so much faster than what he has done for the last couple of years?
Absolutely not, because Glenn knows what to do. And these bikes, unfortunately, it's not much just a matter of jumping on and doing it. It's all got to do with the technique, and it's got to do with how you set the bike up. If you change the setup on the bike, it does make a difference to the lap time. Got a bit of a problem here with Tom Bramich. Be interesting to see what that is. He's pulled in. Can't really say, but he's... I know that he did have brake problems earlier in the weekend, so perhaps it was something to do with that.
Yeah, they've changed discs, they've changed calipers, master cylinders, they've changed a whole lot of stuff, but can't seem to alleviate that problem. The teething problem with a brand new bike, not unexpected completely, but I'm sure that team will get on top of it and he'll come back at round 2.
Max is having a much better race in race 2 here today.
Fastest man on track so far is 1:22.336. That is Tom Edwards, and he's sitting in second place at the moment. That lap was just under 0.3 of a second faster than our race leader, Brock Pearson. So Edwards is making himself very, very busy there at the back of Brock Pearson's machine. Down to the pits. Let's find out what happened with Tom Bramich.
Yeah, really frustrated. Tom Bramich, just explain to us what happened out there, Tom.
Yeah, it's just got an issue with the bike. It's just surging in every time I pick up the throttle, and it's just not safe to be out there. So, yeah, we'll try and figure it out and come back swinging at Wakefield.
Just sum up the weekend you've had so far. Things have been pretty good for you so far.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Friday was absolutely terrible. One of the worst days I've had at the track with bike problems, and we managed to turn it around in qualifying and starting from 4th. And both times I was in the front front 3 off the start. So yeah, really disappointed to start the season like this.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Sure, Tom will come back, as he said, swinging at the next round. That's not too far away, Steve. Wakefield Park, only about a month or so away, so he'll be looking forward to that. At the moment, Brock Pearson is looking forward to trying to open up a little gap over the 26 machine, the Bike Biz entry of Tom Edwards. Down into Motul corner they come, and yeah, Max is looking pretty good. But I tell you what, Dallas Skier has just set his fastest lap of the race, a 1:23.0. He was 0.2 of a second faster than Max Stouffer on that last lap. So he's closing in on board bike number 86 to Max Stouffer on 1:27 just ahead.
Well, whatever Glenn Richards has twiddled with down in the pits down there, he's just gone, Dallas Skier has just gone half a second quicker than he went in qualifying. So Dallas Skier is gaining in confidence. That's really, really good news for him.
A couple of very hard track punters in the class here. Jack Hyde on board bike number 28. Jack Passfield on board bike number 42, having a real good battle there for 8th and 9th position. And right behind him, one of the more experienced campaigners in this field, Aidan Hayes on board bike number 46. Yeah,
good to see Aidan Hayes out there again, having another crack at this championship. He's gained so much in speed over the years. You know, started off in the R3 Cup, worked his way up to 600s, and you know, he's definitely a contender. He's been up there at about a podium. I think he might have even had a podium in the past.
Yeah, he has, and I'll tell you what, he's looking fitter than I've seen him for years as well. Been doing a lot of training over last year during COVID, and training at home, and also training in preparation for this season as well. I'll tell you what, these two have been training incredibly hard as well. Both of them on the push bikes and training hard to get the fitness level up, and it's really showing at the moment as Brock Pearson and Tom Edwards have got a pretty handy lead, about 2 seconds over Max Stouffer, who's at the moment got his hands full with Dallas Skier. Johnny Littress is not too far behind either, and lapping consistently in the mid 1:23s.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pace to be out there for Dallas Skier, but when you look at the leader, 22.2. Last time through for Brock Pearson, he's just set another new lap record. When is this going to stop, Phil?
Well, I don't know. Is that 4 or 5 for Brock Pearson so far this weekend?
Who knows? Well, he's got one that counts right now, 22.268. And that means Tommy Edwards is going to have to do something blistering if he wants to win this one.
That's over a 10th faster than what his lap record was this morning, the 3rd of his 3 lap records this morning. And just looking at the 2 debutants in this class as well, Littress in 5th, Luke Power on board bike number 68 in 5th position. It's an impressive debut from 2 young men that have shown the quality of coming up through the junior ranks, progressing through the 300 class, and now they're doing a great job in the Motorsports TV Supersport class.
Absolutely. number 28, Jack Hyde there, and Jack Passfield having a nice little battle there for 8th and 9th, top 10. Reece Belling just behind them. You can see him there just at the back of your screen. Look at the way that Brock Pearson, though, just adjusts his line, lifts the bike up slightly because he was just a tad too close to the inside corner there at spokes.com.au corner.
And the fact that his legs are about 11 feet long.
Absolutely. But he is on point this weekend, Brock Pearson.
You can see the nervous attitude there of Tommy Edwards' bike as well. That was something we noticed in the race earlier on this morning too, that his bike was moving around. It was looking a lot more busy than, as you said, the very economical racing style of Brock Pearson, who just seems to glide from one side of the machine to the other.
Well, Phil, we've just got another new lap record, 22.249, which is quicker than the quickest time that a Supersport bike has ever been around this circuit. So that is very, very impressive.
And whatever Brock Pearson does, Tommy Edwards seems to be able to match him on that last lap. He was 5/1,000ths of a second slower than what Edwards was. So both of them on that last lap were under the lap record that Brock Pearson had set only one lap before.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this lap, because they can't keep doing it lap after lap. Something's got to give.
Well, a 1:22 is a pretty good time in the Superbike class, let alone in the Motorsports TV Supersport class.
Well, Brock Pearson's got a little bit of a break there at the moment, but we have a problem. He's done it again. 22.0 this time from Tom Edwards. 22.0. We're nearly in the 21s.
Well, if they can crack into the 21s, that will be, I think, a fair indication of how hard they are pushing each other at the front of this field, and also of the longevity of the tyres, because we're coming now into to lap 8 of the 14-lap journey. We're over half race distance, and they just keep setting lap record after lap record.
This is an insane job that they're doing out there. I mean, Maxi Stauffer's even doing a really good job. 22.5 for him last time round. His fastest lap of the race. He's 3.1 seconds off. That is just a superb lap time.
Well, considering coming into this round, the lap record was a 1:23.503 set by Tom Toparis back in 2019. And I think I've lost count of the amount of times that lap record would have been broken in total. Or the amount of laps that have been done under that existing lap record between Edwards and Pearson this weekend.
Jack Hyde in front at the moment of this battle for 8th position, with Jack Passfield just behind him. Scott Nicholson with a little bit of breathing space in front of them. And Luke Power in the top 6. That's pretty impressive for Luke Power.
Yep. He's got 39. Scott Nicholson right behind him as well, but a back marker coming up for those riders very soon as we start lap 9 of this 14-lap journey. If you look now at Luke Power on board bike number 68, was riding with the ProWorks team last year in Supersport 300. Coming into the last round, Steve, was a championship contender. Didn't go his way in the last round, but he's stepped up this year with the same team on the bigger bike. He's done a few training days in Sydney in preparation for this, as well as the test here a couple of weeks ago, and been a very impressive debut from Luke Power on board the ProWorks Kawasaki.
Well, he's literally riding it like a seasoned veteran the way he's out there.
Not bad for a 16-year-old.
Not bad at all.
So our race leaders now are coming through the Dunlop corner, the final corner in the S's here at Winton Motor Raceway, out onto the straight that takes them down to the AMMF corner.
Brock Pearson keeps on looking over his shoulder. No point to do that. He's got a lap board that's going to tell him what the time is. And all that does is that tells Tommy Edwards that he's nervous. Do you know what I mean? He needs to not give any body language that there's an issue or anything. But while he's looking over his shoulder, he's saying, I'm trying to get away from you. So that Tommy Edwards will know that.
So lap 9 just about complete for our race leader, Brock Pearson. We'll have a look at the lap times on this last lap. That gap has remained pretty consistent over the last couple of laps. A new lap record for Brock Pearson, a 1:22.041. Just
kidding.
add another one onto the... We need an abacus to start adding these up, Steve, as they come down now to Motul corner. And the lap from Tom Edwards was a 1:22.1. So once again, it's a case of there is literally nothing separating them. When Brock Pearson breaks the lap record, Tommy Edwards is right behind him. When Tom Edwards breaks the lap record, Brock Pearson is right behind him as well. This is just building to a crescendo, which is coming up very, very quickly because we've only got 5 laps to go.
Well, you cannot keep on breaking the lap record lap after lap after lap. Something has to give. The guys are coming up to a back marker. Let's hope that guy moves out of the way.
That would be Matt Long on board bike number 23. Does a good job there to stay nice and wide. So, he just they got him on the wrong part of the corner, and it looks like both of them have just managed to get their way past. I don't think he either didn't see the blue flags or they weren't put out, but good to see that they've both got past safely, but they both lost a little bit of distance there, I think.
Well, I think the man that lost out the most there was Brock Pearson. He sort of more or less had to back off and
upset his rhythm.
It did. It's upset his rhythm. You can see him shaking his head there. Now he was definitely in the zone. He's looking over his shoulder again, and he won't be happy with what he sees, because what he sees is Tommy Edwards right in the slipstream now.
Yes, you could just see the gold Bike Biz machine taking up all of his non-existent rear-view mirrors through the spokes.com.au as they go and over the hill into Motul corner turn 3. The blue flag's out now, but it's probably a little bit too late.
Yeah, there's plenty of room in front of them at the moment, but they do need to give warnings to whoever is in front so that they can have a clean race for the next 4 laps.
Well, Matt Long was just about to have to make way for both Max Stouffer and Dallas Skier that are making their way through in the battle for 3rd position. Max has got a little bit of a lead over Dallas Skier at the moment. Nonetheless, it's a very impressive ride from Dallas Skier on board bike number 86, and I'd go as far as to say that's his best ride ever in the Motorsports TV Supersport class.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really, really good job for him to be up there in that 4th position. He'll be really excited and happy on his drive home to Mount Gambier.
Well, unfortunately, Tim Large on board bike number 74 has had some problems and he's retired, entered into the pits as we watch Brock Pearson and Tom Edwards make their way down the Ducati straight and into MA corner.
Be interesting to see what this lap time is. This lap time will be very, very telling from Brock Pearson. As he goes over the line, how flustered was he really? Can he get back down to those times that he was setting before? As he heads over the line, 22.0, so no problem at all, nearly another lap record.
1/1000th of a second off equaling his current lap record on that last lap. They only lost half a second with that issue over there on the exit of Dunlop Corner, so shows you how hard, Steve, that they actually rode the rest of that lap. But I think if you look there at the attitude of Brock Pearson's bike, it looks to me like he's just stepped up the effort just a fraction there as he made his way out of Pirelli corner. The bike for the first time is actually really starting to move around.
Yeah, he wants it, and he wants it bad. He doesn't want Tommy Edwards to win again, that's for sure. So he's giving it everything that he's got, and I tell you what, he's on the ragged edge at the moment, but he's such a smooth rider that he's the type of guy that can just hold that tyre together till the end.
Well, if you listen to what Tom said to Rihanna as well on the grid, that they were trying to make the bike a bit easier on the tyres in the middle of the race. This is where we're going to find out if that adjustment was successful.
Yeah, well, with a couple of laps to go now, it's like pretty much give it everything you got, Tom. But look at the gap that he's pulled out now. He's actually pulled out a decent gap over Tommy Edwards.
You could see how his bike was riding the bumps there down into MA corner. It was a point that you made to me when we were talking about the pillion rides yesterday, is just how bumpy that back straight is in places.
It certainly is bumpy. You have to have such good setup at this track, otherwise you will it will be detrimental to your lap time.
So out of the spokes.com.au as we come, we are on lap 13 of 14. So on the penultimate tour now of Winton Motor Raceway for the Motorsports TV Supersport class. Good battle going on here between the two debutants, Luke Power on 68 and Johnny Littris on 308. Very impressive debut from these two young men. I can't wait to see them maybe in another race or two's time, and will they be at the front challenging for the race, because I think if you had have told them at the beginning of the weekend that they'd be battling for 5th and 6th position, they would have been pretty happy with that result.
Oh, absolutely. They're both excelling in the amount of effort and the positions on track that they're putting out there. And it's going to be interesting to see. They're used to battling with each other in the smaller classes. Who's going to give way at the end? You can just see there Luke Power looking to dive up the inside, looking for a way around Johnny Littris, but Johnny Littris won't have any of that.
Well, they're holding a pretty handy lead over Scott Nicholson. We saw how good he was in race 1 this morning as well too, so even more kudos to these two as Luke Power picks up the back wheel very hard on the brakes into AMMF corner, and managed to get the ProWorks Kawasaki stopped and turned, and still get out onto the Ducati straight with a fair amount of speed. But our race leaders, Brock Pearson and Tom Edwards, will be coming across the line to complete their penultimate lap. They are on the last 3 kilometre tour now. There's 12 corners to go. Make that 10, Steve Martin, as they make their way out of turn 2 for the final time. It is still Brock Pearson. Tommy Edwards has set a lap record on the new last lap on the 121.872. They're into the 21s. They're not just into the 21s, they're well and truly into the 21s.
Well, this is not over yet. Tommy Edwards is literally on a mission. Brock Pearson knows that these boys are on the edge, but you just know that Tommy Edwards is going to have a dive up the inside at some point. He's right there now. This is going to get serious awfully soon, Phil.
Was he watching Wayne Maxwell in Superbike Race 1? He's going to plan a corner maybe at MA Turn. It's Brock Pearson that leads, coming through Dunlop Corner for the final time. Edwards is right onto the ducktail now of bike number 17 as they make their way out of Dunlop and down the straight towards AMMF Corner. Can he go up the inside? No, Pearson is too late on the brakes. There's only 2 corners to go, Steve.
This is it. On the back Ducati straight they go. Did he get a good enough drive? And he has got a drive. He's pulling up next to him, but Pearson late on the brakes. Edwards, not much he can do about that. He's diving up the inside. He's run wide. Pearson's got this. He's just going to get round the next corner.
That's not as easy as you would think, because we've seen a few people come to grief there. They've both made it through safely. Edwards has got great drive, but I think Pearson is going to take the win. He's first for 2021. Congratulations to Brock Pearson and Tom Edwards. What a show they put on in Motorsports TV. Pearson takes the win. Edwards in second. Maxi Stouffer will take third, his first podium of the year. And Dallas Skier will take fourth place, his best ever result in the Motorsports TV Supersport class. But Brock Pearson, do you reckon he's happy? I think the body language gives that away.
What a race. That was super impressive, super consistent.
Brock Pearson takes the win by 0.267 of a second over Tom Edwards. Max Stouffer joins them on the podium. Dallas Skier in fourth, Luke Power in fifth, Johnny Littrus in sixth, Nicholson in seventh, Jack Hyde in eighth, Jack Passfield in ninth, and Reece Belling rounds out the top 10.
Aidan Hayes in 11th, Joel Taylor in 12th, good result for him. Luke Mitchell in 13th, Mitch Kuhn in 14th, Noel Mahon gets that last point. Matthew Long in 16th, Timothy Large didn't finish, and neither did Tom Bramage, pulling in with mechanical failure.
Our top 3 for the race, they're in Park for May with Rihanna.
What a fantastic way to finish off the day for the Motorsports TV Supersport class. In third place, Max Stouffer. Congratulations. I know you weren't totally pleased with what happened in race 1, but well done to get yourself on the podium for the first time in 2021.
Yeah, thank you. That was such a hard pace, you know. I had nothing on the 2 boys out in front, so I got a bit of work to do before Wakefield, but I can tell you what, I'll be there then.
We're looking forward to seeing you there. Congratulations, Max. Third place on the podium. And in second position, once again here in Parc Fermé, Tom Edwards. Awesome to watch you battling out with Brock Pearson then. How did you enjoy it?
Yeah, no, it was a really fun race. Brock and I have always raced each other since we were really young, and out there then I was behind him, and I had a little bit of worn front tyre on the right, and I just couldn't overtake him, so I was kind of just waiting on him to make a mistake, but he just didn't all race. He rode it perfect and had a good race.
And congratulations, you're actually the round winner for the first round of the season, so that must make you pleased.
Yeah, thanks. It's really good to have an advantage coming into the start of the season.
We look forward to seeing you at the next round. And our winner for race 2 of the Motorsports TV Supersport class, Brock Pearson. Congratulations, Brock. Hard-earned winning here in this final race of the day. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was a really good race. I mean, fair and square. Tommy had me in the first one, and same thing. I sort of waited for him to make a mistake, and he didn't. And I thought tyres were going to go away, and they really didn't either. So that race, I knew I just had to get out, get in front, lead the way, and try and put consistent laps in like I have been all weekend. I tried to shake him multiple times. I couldn't. I got held up a little bit during the race, and yeah, went down to the end, but congratulations to him for the overall. But I'm stoked to grab this race win. This is awesome to knock out straight out.
And so the championship is now tentatively poised with 1 point between them at the top. And we've spoken before about the importance of pole position. That's the only thing that will give Tom Edwards the round win. Back to you, Rihanna.
Well, Steve Martin, that is it for round 2. We look forward to plenty more action as we head to round 3 at Wakefield Park in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks very much to Phil Harlem for all his work in commentary. Of course, to you, Steve Martin. Catch all the action and keep up to date on asbk.com.au and, of course, all across our social media channels. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks.